If you were in on the happiness challenge last week, like, I feel like so much good came out of that. And even if you feel like you hadn't really done a lot, trust me, doing those exercises is very powerful. So I would continue, just let them be reminders, continue to do those things. And that's totally gonna help with this challenge. I see a butterfly. It's the really big one that likes to come and visit. I love that. It's coming right now. Look. I don't know if you saw it, but that's amazing. Oh, look. Yes. So sweet. Anyway, sorry about that. I love to share my baby. So this is feeding right into the self-love challenge. And you know, I said on my last on the last live about the last challenge that it would come to me, and I had a conversation with somebody and I was like, yeah, it's self-love. And I think that so many people struggle with self-love. Is it gonna land on me for real? Goodness, that's sweet. So many of us struggle with loving ourselves because we've been beating up on ourselves for so long. And for my own journey, like, that was my major challenge, was learning to love myself. So I'm going to tell you 2 stories that are going to lead into this challenge. So I'll tell you right now that the challenge is to change your story. We have this story about our life that we tell to ourselves over and over again, and we tell it to other people over and over again. And even though we hate the story, like, we keep repeating it because it's like, because that's what we keep repeating. We self-identify with that stuff. But I think that, you know, it is good because your path brings you everything that you're supposed to learn and know that leads up to your big awakening. Little awakenings along the way, but they all lead to the big one. So it is good to know our story. However, if we focus on the negatives of the story and we identify with those things, then we do ourselves a disservice. So my first story is about my name. I could have just used Nikki Gordon as kind of my business name or my name to the world, because I always hated my middle name, not because it was a bad name, but you know how when you're little and your mom gets really mad and she says your middle name? So that was my experience with my middle name. So anytime that I did something that, you know, she was trying to berate me for, or like she was trying to, I mean, what she would tell me, it was like that it was stupid, that I was stupid, she would say my middle name, Nikki Lynn. And it was such a negative connotation to me. And as kids, we absorbed that. And then years later, I had my own kids. I was washing clothes one day and I dropped something and I said to myself, Nikki Lynn, like, oh, it's so dumb. And I caught it. And I thought, you know, I really hated that when my mom did that to me. Like, it made me feel so little and so inconsequential. And here I am doing that to myself. And that's not good. So I started to, not from that moment, but I did have that recognition. And then years later, whenever I decided that, you know, I was going to try something in business, I said, like, I'm going to put my name out there. And I started to focus on changing the connotation of that name. So instead of saying Nikki Lynn whenever I felt dumb for doing something, I turned it into, hey, I turned it into a positive. And that has taken me leaps and bounds in terms of self-love. I had to reclaim my own name and my own identity related to it. So those things, like, we feel like they have so much power over us, but actually we have the power to change how we feel about those things. The other story I'll tell you, and this is just like coming today, and I might cry, so prepare yourself. I'm preparing myself. So I have had a very rocky relationship with both of my parents. And, you know, I know that I chose my parents when I came here, and I needed to learn things from them. And I have. But now that I'm in a much better place, I can see them as people, and I see them as people who are flawed and who are trying to find their way as well, and they're just not getting the lessons that they really need to learn, that they came here to learn. I see them struggle and repeat patterns. So it has kind of helped me to release some of that. But you know, anytime you're around your parents or you interact with them, it activates your inner child. So it's like you can be 46 years old and be in a room with your parents, and you automatically still assume the child role and they're the parent. And that's okay. But it kind of will stir up all of that stuff about your story. And so it's been difficult for me to accept that, because I love my parents and I want them to accept me, and I also want them to learn their lessons and do well in life and be happier than they are now. So it's okay. But yesterday my husband said to me, because I haven't spoken to both of my parents in a long time, he said to me, I feel like the universe is telling me something, which is a big thing for him. And he also said, I don't know how you're going to take it. And I said, just tell me. And he said, tomorrow's Father's Day, and I feel like you need to call your dad. And so I was resistant to that, because, you know, I had been rejected a bunch of times, you know, because of the situation. And I was just like, I don't know if I'm willing to put myself out there again, but I'm going to be open about it. And so I just didn't think about it much. I went to sleep feeling very good last night. I woke up this morning feeling good, and I came outside and sat on the porch with my coffee, and I just had this feeling that I'm gonna send him a text. And so I texted my dad and said, you know, happy Father's Day, Daddy. I love you so much, and I really hope, that you have an amazing day. And he texted me right back and said, thank you, love you too. And it just, like, this is all the resistance of that leaving. And then I told a friend who kind of has the same situation, and she texted her dad and she got the same thing. So I realized in doing that because the first thing that came up was the story, like, oh, his wife is going to be pissed if she finds out that, you know, I texted him. And then I thought, you know what, I don't have to buy into the story anymore. They don't have to be a unit in my mind, because having them as a unit in my mind causes me to react. I can just focus on the positive parts of my dad that I love and adore so much. I can just look at that, and that is changing our story and our energy that we have between us. And it's such a lovely thing. So I'm gonna stop crying now. That's like the little soft parts of me. But it's good. And so I know that we all have those relationships in our life. It could be our parents, it could be our siblings, it could be our partner. But you don't have to keep clinging to that story and justifying your position. What you can do is change that story. But we're not going to even relate it to other people. We're going to relate it to yourself. So you've been repeating your story to yourself. You have these beliefs about who you are based on what you've been through. And it's time to change the story. So, of course, those things happen and we honor them because they are part of our journey. But I want you to focus. This is your challenge. I want you to stop focusing on the negative parts of the story. I want you to focus on the positive parts of the story. So, bad things happen to us, but out of that does come good. And we learn more about ourselves. We become stronger. We are ready for that the next time. And that's what I want you to focus on. So take some time today when you have some quiet time to reflect. And if you want to write it down, that's even more powerful. And I want you to look at those moments of adversity that occurred in your life. And I want you to see what they've taught you. There have been so many times in my life where it was like hard. It was just hard. But now looking back, I can see why I had to go through that. Why I had to experience that contrast so that I could learn something about my own inner power. We've all had hurdles and we've all gotten over them at some point. And when they're in your face, you feel like, oh my God, I don't even know what to do with this. It's so in my face and I'm so activated and I'm so scared. But you got through them because you're still here. So let's start telling the story of your achievement. Let's start telling the story of your power. Let's start telling the story of, I'm a fucking warrior. Look at all the shit I have overcome and I'm still standing here and I'm still moving forward and I'm still growing. Because if you just keep telling that same shit story and looking at all the ways you think you failed, then that's what you're bringing into your life. That's who you expect to be. Start telling the story of how you overcame adversity and how you used your own power and how nobody did it for you. You did it for yourself. And you can continue to do it for yourself. And you can honor that warrior that you are. So that is the challenge today. Tell a new story. And if you need to cry about it, fucking cry about it. And then just let it go. Once it's done today, oh, this relates to a sign I got for myself the other day. It said, this is your last day of resistance. Just let it go. Crying is releasing resistance out of your body through your eyeballs. Those tears are healing you. So if you have to cry, cry. And if you want to laugh, laugh. Honor your inner warrior. This is who you are. This is who you came here to be. And don't you fucking love that about yourself? So amazing. Now I'm going to go back and scroll because I saw some conversation. I've been debating this too. Maybe I should. Yeah, Michelle, like, and it doesn't have to be a big deal, and just let go of the expectation, what you expect, how you expect them to react. I just sent it. I didn't expect anything. Normally, when I texted him in the past, he didn't respond right away, and then I'd just be worried about it all day. Well, he's not going to talk to me. Oh, he don't want to talk to me. Like, he just texted back right away, and it was so fluid and beautiful. So if you feel inspired to do it, do it. If it feels good to you, do it. Michelle said, I have the same situation. I'm going to ask my sister to be able to speak to him. Yeah, I feel like that's a good thing to do. Latasha said my dad passed before I could express myself to him. But you know what, Latasha? Now that he has gone on, he is pure positive energy again, and he knows. He knows. And he's loving you exactly the way you're loving him. So it's never too late. It's never too late because it never ends. Okay, and then they were having conversation. I'm not trying to put it all out there. Yes. I really appreciate you, Latasha, and I appreciate you, Michelle. I appreciate all of you, and I appreciate how y'all love on each other. And that's the love that I want you to give to yourself today. And this is the first day of our challenge, but we have to, this is that detox moment where we have to just let it go. Let go of the story and look at, it's not a hard luck story anymore. It is an amazing, adventurous story. If you've ever read The Alchemist, like it's that kind of adventure. And if you haven't read The Alchemist, I really strongly suggest that you do, because it's all about your inner power. Yes, this is a nice group of friends without judgment, and that's the space that I hold for all of you, and that I see all of you hold for each other. It's so beautiful. And we create our own family, and that has been, you know, in the last few days I've realized that, like, man, I'm creating the most beautiful family. I created my own physical family with my children, and now I'm creating my own extended family that is just loving and supportive in everything that I ever wanted from my real family. And some of them give it to me and some of them don't, and that's okay because I have all of you. But with this, I feel that through this, it is showing me that I can have this with my birth family as well. So if it's family healing for you, like, yeah, that's gonna go. But this is more, it's not about forgiving them. It's not about giving into them. It is about you and reconnecting with your own power. Thank you, Mary. I love your vibes too. So just sit with that today, spend some quiet time, and relive your journey, but from the powerful perspective. That's the message. I love all of you guys. Thank you. Like, I hate to cry. I hate to cry, but I felt so supported. So thank you so much. And I'll be back tomorrow with the next challenge. Keep on loving yourself today. Keep on loving yourself today. I love you guys so much, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Bye.